Heyo, this is Tassinix from Shadowlands Vanguard, and you are listening to the Escape Pod cast. This episode was recorded in front of a live Twitch audience, so grab a drink and witness the madness. Oh yeah! Take it away, boys.
One is a Grand Arena Specialist from the UK. The other is a Territory Battle Tactician from the US. Together, there are no signs of intelligent life on board. But with both having decades of hosting experience under their belt, the one thing we are sure of is you will be entertained. This is the Escape Pod Cast, a weekly look into the mobile game Star Wars, Galaxy of Heroes. Live from the Nerdy Network studios of Yavin 4, here are your hosts, Neil Andrew Eyre and Paul Anthony.
Coming up on this week's edition of the Escape Pod Cast,
the TIE Interceptor has finally come to the game.
So, does that mean we're going to get Soontir Fel, Volt Scarus, or even Nash Windrider?
No, it's the Second Sisters ship, Paul.
Wait, what?
And since when do you know names like that from Legends?
Well, when you fly Imperials in the X-Wing Miniatures game, you kind of get to know your own pilots.
Well, color me impressed.
Well, wait a minute, Neil. We are getting breaking news as we record this for the intro.
Ooh, did the State of the Galaxy drop?
No, at least not right now. Instead, it's about your baby, GAC.
Ugh, another new Omicron?
Nope, a major glitch.
Oh no, not GAC.
Apparently, people are getting awarded erroneous banners.
Bollocks.
Yep, this is going to be huge in our community. We will give you more information as we know it.
Well, I did find us some GAC people to talk to this week.
Oh, did you now?
Yeah, GoCubs and IceHouse of the GACLab show will join us.
Nice, and that's something right up your alley.
A new episode of Dickie and the Noob drops this week.
And we will get jiggy with Jigabachi as well in the last segment.
All this and more breaking news as and if it happens.
Right here on the Escape Pod Cast.
The Escape Pod Cast News.
And as we start our show, the breaking news is, yes, GAC has been canceled. Nev, kicked the show off.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Escape Podcast. I'm your host, Nev, and as always, I'm joined by my hetero life partner, Paul Anthony. Paul, how are you doing tonight?
This is one of those shows that I absolutely love. We have a great guest. We have some excellent news as far as a new ship coming to the game. And then we also have the breaking news that we get to report and discuss on, and that is GAC being canceled. But Neil, there's one other thing that is absolutely special about tonight's show.
What?
This is our 3rd year anniversary. The Escape Podcast first aired February 8th of 2019.
I was about to say 2000. That would put us at our 22nd anniversary.
2019. Okay. So this is 3 years since the show began, and I love it. I absolutely am stoked about it. Yeah. So,
that's 3 years for you. It's not 3 years for me. It's 2 and a bit for me.
Two and a quarter. Yeah, because Scotty left 30 episodes in.
Yeah, it's two and a bit for me.
You and I still have our 3rd year anniversary coming up, but the concept of the show and its first episode ever broadcast was February 8th. So, hooray!
I've got my 4th. Technically, my 4th anniversary is this year.
Oh?
Well, yeah, you got to remember, I started on YouTube before a lot of people.
Oh, yes, yes.
I started. What is it? Urza started, and then I followed him. So Urza was the very first person to stream Grand Arena, and then I kind of like joined him a month afterwards. Because I remember I stole his countdown. I stole Urza's countdown. He DM'd me when I was on Twitch once. He's like, that was our banter. Like in 2000, that was our banter in 2018, 2019 was that I stole his countdown. I'm like, no, I didn't. You stole the countdown. He stole it first. I just stole it from the same location that he stole it from off YouTube. But yeah, so yeah, my 4th anniversary is coming up this year, middle of the year. It's a fair few months away yet, but yeah, okay.
All right, so let's get into it. GAC canceled. There was a glitch that if you have changed your defenses from round 1, your opponent would get approximately 400 banners. It depended how many teams you placed down.
It depended on it. No. It wasn't just how many teams. It depended on the division and the league that you were in.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The division and league changes.
Yeah.
You know, the amount of placements is changed.
Yeah. So the with that. Oh my god! I mean, Reddit just kind of like exploded. It went nuts. I've never seen that so many people were on it. It was like just page after page after page. Some people like all the way down in the lower divisions, in the lower leagues, in the lower divisions, they only like picking up 200. They literally only picked up 200 banners. So yeah, it was very, very interesting.
Yeah. But if
really,
you changed, if you changed your defense from the first round, they got points.
Which is how I knew I got points, because my opponent, which is annoying as hell, because I had a 3GL opponent and he put down an absolute peach of a defense for me, which I destroyed in 20 minutes. I absolutely crushed it.
You did speed GAC.
Yes, I did speed GAC. I did do speed GAC. The thing is, it's not just me. Everybody is doing speed GAC right now. There's like 20 content creators on Twitch, probably a couple on YouTube right now, right this second, furiously trying to get the full clear just to see if they would have done it, because obviously it's getting cancelled. But it's nice to see if, all of your planning, and all of your scouting was actually going to work, rather than just, let it get cancelled without even throwing a punch. So right now, everybody is like furiously punching fists, speed GAC wise. And it's actually giving me an idea. It's an evil idea, but it's an idea that I would fully 100% endorse. Since everybody is forced that wants to do it, everyone's effectively forced into a speed GAC now. Why not have a month where it is speed GAC? Just a thought, why the hell not?
I love the idea, but unfortunately it would have to be tied to whatever your payout reset is to accommodate for the fact that time zones exist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. What I mean by speed GAC is because, like you just said, the time zones are different. I don't mean speed GAC in the sense that, there is a starting time and there is a finish time. I mean a speed GAC in that there is a finish time. So still a 24-hour window. It's still a 24-hour window, but the speed GAC kicks off when you start. So from the moment
you enter and you only have 30 minutes to do it.
From the moment you enter battle, you only have 30 minutes.
I actually kind of like that idea. I really, really kind of like that idea, because think about it, Neil. There's people who will go in and they'll just do one battle just to make sure that they get the points. And then later on, they'll come back and full clear you after you full cleared them and have more points.
Mm-hmm. They wouldn't be able to do that if it was speed GAC. And I think something like that would be better than, because ever since the new format got rolled out, one of the big questions that has been kind of floating around there out in the ether, especially from people that absolutely mega loathe 3v3, is, will 3v3 return? I personally don't think 3v3 will return, but wouldn't it be fun to see what a speed GAC would look like? So a 30, literally. So the second you start your first battle,
you start your first battle. Okay, I was going to say you should be able to. Well, think about it, Neil.
The second your first battle begins, boom, 30-minute clock starts.
But that's not how we did it for the Capital Games creators versus devs. Because
no. Yeah, it was.
It wasn't, because they had to also go, okay, this is what's on their front line, and mentally think of what to do. So it should be 30 minutes. If they were to embrace this sort of thing and do it, you had 30 minutes from the time that you first peek at the board.
Well, yeah, no, I don't. I think something like that would cause too much. I think something like that would cause way too much confusion. I still.
Well, I mean, you're already confusing people by only giving them 30 minutes.
Well, yeah, but it would be explained in the, it would be explained in the forums.
But nobody reads the forums, Neil.
It doesn't matter. Then it could be done in the mail as well.
Nobody reads the mail either.
If you don't read the inbox that comes in the inbox, the in-game mail for changes in the game, then that's on you. That's not on anybody else. That's on you. That's on the person not reading their mail, in-game mail. But I just think it would be interesting because here's the thing. There's a lot of matchmaking that there's a lot of matchmaking that's still quite skewed at the moment. It just is. It really is. There are people that are constantly up against accounts that have 1, sometimes 2 mil GP more. And they know that if their opponent has the time and the patience, that they will have their defenses just ruffle stomped. It'll just get marched all over, it'll get flattened. However, if your opponent with 2 mil G, yes, they've still got the resources to full clear you, but if they don't fight efficiently, they might not necessarily have the time to do it. Whereas you can be like, right, okay, I know the second I start, I've got 30 minutes. I know what's on the front. May not necessarily know you don't know what's on the back, because nobody ever knows what's on the back. But you can be like, right, okay, I need to beat this team. The person that's a GP and roster disadvantage would have to be, even more cautious and careful and more astute in their tactics and their strategy, because it would involve a lot more tactics and a lot more strategy. So yeah, I just think something like that would be interesting.
Yeah, but
some people have lives and may not be able to do that.
That is true. And I was about to read that. Cascade says, I'm able to do some, and then I may get called away. That's absolutely true, Neil. Not everybody has 30 minutes to sit down and dedicate uninterrupted that time. So, yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right, Cascade. But in the hypothetical world, we're just throwing that out there. I like it. I do. I'm not going to lie. I like that idea of a variation of GAC. But you're right. It would upset some player base that is both here and not here.
There would be. Here's the thing. Cascade is an exception. There are always exceptions. In every with every change, there are always exceptions that will take umbrage to that kind of a change. Absolutely. And while I sympathize and empathize with the exceptions, you can't stop tweaks, changes, take things out or put things in, and just say, no, we can't do that because 0.1% of the base, it would totally screw them over. It'd be like, okay, we won't make that change as a result of the 1% of the base.
But I think more than the 1% of the base would not like the whole idea itself as well, even if they had 30 minutes. Because
how many
then you
people
get
out of 500, because there are 500,000 active GAC competitors. How many of that 500,000 do you think would be like would take major issue with something like that?
I'll tell you one. I'll tell you two of them: Arnold and Playbook. And all the content creators who only have 30 minutes to stream, they don't have this extended amount of time to put on a show. That's who would take exception to it. Fatal takes 20 minutes to do one attack. And I'm not saying that in a bad way whatsoever. He's freaking smart about it. Yeah, and Cashmere.
Yeah, because Fate, if Fatal was invited on to do speed GAC, he'd say, no, I don't want to do that because I need 20 minutes to do my matches.
And Cashmere says everything always upsets someone. And that is something that we are going to get into later in segment 2, when we review the different things that CG has come out via data leaks and things like that. Neil, you've been tinkering around the ship a little bit, and I see above us that it's not brought down yet, but
no, it hasn't.
You've got another monitor up there. What is going on? What's going on with that?
In the ship?
Yes.
Yeah. We're doing some upgrades. A very, very, very slick, mod salesman. Because everybody that watches Star Wars loves mods. So I thought, you know what? Why don't we get some mods? We're going to get some modifications for the Millennial Fulcrum. We are going to install artificial intelligence. We're going to have some. We're going to have some AI in the Millennial Fulcrum because sometimes we'll be sat here. We're at the bridge. We're talking about various different characters, or we're talking about various different things going on in the game, and we might not necessarily have a date off the top of our heads, or what a character does off the top of our heads, or anything like that. So we are installing into the ship artificial intelligence, So
there's something that we can ask the artificial intelligence to look up something for us so we don't get it wrong.
Yes, basically, so that we don't get things wrong. Or if we get something wrong,
I was going to say, can I make sure that it corrects us at the end of segment 2?
Yes. The artificial intelligence will listen in on our conversation. It's a bit like Alexa. Only in that Alexa listens to everything you're saying all the time. I mean, Alexa doesn't correct you, but ours will. Our artificial intelligence will listen to what we're saying. So if we make an error, they'll be able to correct us. So if we're talking about, I don't know, a rebel fleet, counter to something, and we roll off 3 ships, but we got the counter wrong, for example, our friendly AI would be like, oh, by the way, just wanted to let you know that counter, which was discovered by such and such, it's actually these 3 ships that starts. And then we'll be like, thank you to the AI, because they caught us in time. Or it's like, oh, this post made by this person a couple of months ago, I don't know the exact date, and then the AI will be like, oh, that post was made by such and such on such and such a day. So we've got like artificial intelligence. It's going to be good. It's going to be very useful.
And now
we'll have them on a monitor, so you'll be able to see them as well. I mean, you're not going to be able to interact. It's AI.
It only works in the ship.
Yeah, it only works in the ship. And no, it's not like Star Trek, because that's a different universe. It's not computer. it's our computer, our AI will have a much more interesting name than just referring to them as computer. They won't. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. And they'll be on a monitor, and you'll be able to see them on the monitor because there'll be a computer generated image of their head. Because who wants to look at a blank screen on a monitor? Nobody wants to look at a blank screen on a monitor. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing soon, very, very soon. We haven't got it installed yet, but we will be getting it installed very, very soon.
All right, I'm going to pull back the curtain for a second. This is also Neil and I's way of welcoming Bones88 to the show. You saw his name in the cast members list starting either next week or the following week. Bones will join us playing the part of the AI. We hope that you will enjoy this slightly interactive way for us to make sure to fact check ourselves, to make sure that we don't give out erroneous information. So congratulations, Bones, on joining the Escape Podcast.
And it will be an actual, it's an actual fact checker, So if we get something wrong, as in like a date or a character, they can look it up and get it right. It's not, then it's not going to be like, oh, this character's awesome, and then they, offer an opinion. So, no, that character's not awesome. This character's awesome. Well, that's an opinion, not a fact check. So yes, they will be there to present facts and data, and we're going to give and they're going to be called Bob.
Yep, we're calling him Bob.
We're calling him Bob.
Bones, old boy.
Not Bob. Bob.
My northern accent comes out. I'm sorry, Bob.
Bob. My God, Bob. Say it, Bob.
Bob.
No, Bob.
Let's move past this before the whole entire episode becomes you yelling at me for my accent. I don't get on you for calling the trunk a boot, okay?
I don't call it a boot though. I call it a boot if I'm in the UK. Over here, I'll call it a trunk. I mean, it's wrong. It's not called a trunk. It's called a boot. But I mean, you crazy Americans seem to like changing the names of things for no apparent reason whatsoever. I mean, it's a footpath. No, it's a sidewalk. No, it's a footpath because you walk on the path with your feet, which is why it's called a footpath, not a sidewalk. But for some reason, you want to call it that. Not my problem, your problem.
Well, go check out Neil shoveling his footpath and
no, driveway. It was the driveway.
Oh, okay. No, I thought it was an easement.
No. It was the driveway.
Pavement. Zaz says pavement. All right. Let's get into it real quick, I guess. One of the things, who was it? This is one of those things where I'd ask Bob. The cashier said everything always upsets someone. One of the things that I've noticed has kind of divided the SWGOH events server is the fact that in the future, something is going to require that you have at least one galactic legend. Did you see this, Neil?
No, I didn't. What is this? Illuminates.
We don't know what it is yet, but the data mine, I'm going to pull it up so I say it exactly as it is. General data mine, as of February 2nd, own one GL unit. You must own at least one Galactic Legend unit, 0 out of 1. So there's something coming that you're going to need that you must have a GL, any GL, in order to use the feature to play the game.
Well, maybe they. I hope they make it a challenge because nobody cares about challenges. There would be a chat, like they did with the Razor Crest.
Yeah,
they did it with the they did it with the not the Razor Crest. Oh God, who did
See,
they do it with?
Bob
they
would be
Mando.
wonderful
They did
here.
They did it with Mando. Remember, you needed a 7-star Mando, and some people didn't have a 7-star Mando. It's like,
Yeah,
really?
and this is exactly what it's like. This really, truly is exactly what it's like. You can't do this part of the game unless you have a 7-star this.
Yeah.
So,
Which sucks.
I don't see why it's any different because not everything is for everyone. That's something that we all have to remember.
Yeah.
Plus,
It's like Conquest.
yeah.
Mhm.
But let's take a quick break, get the Patreon leaderboard out of the way, and on the other side of the break, we'll talk about the fact that Darth Talon is once again a cantina farm. Right after these messages right here on the Escape Pod cast.
HotBot in HotUtils is one of the most comprehensive tools for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
With integration into the super useful mod tool Grand Ivory, HotUtils can help you tackle some of the most difficult aspects of the game.
Not sure how to mod your roster for a certain game mode?
Use one of the many filters that automatically assigns the right mods to the right character in accordance with your guild needs.
Now with the digital features that can assist you and your guild officers in territory battles and territory wars, HotUtils is an amazing value.
And don't forget the useful tools for yourself in Grand Arena, like the in-depth and customizable compare feature.
Got multiple accounts like Neil, but not the time to remod them all?
With this one-stop utility, you can switch between your alts and never miss a mod upgrade or a mod switch before locking into GAC or Territory Wars.
Starting at just $5 a month, you don't want to miss out on these great tools.
HotUtils is the new official remodding service for the Escape Pod cast.
Visit HotUtils.com to learn more. That's HotUtils.com. And go ahead and spice up your Galaxy of Heroes experience.
Followers, be sure to support the shows brought to you on the Escape Podcast Twitch and YouTube channel by becoming a Patreon. For as little as $2 a month, you can support us and get a little extra for yourself. With tiered rewards including access to Shitty Bill's Arena tracking bot, after-show access, inclusion in the GA Center leaderboards, behind-the-scenes access, and much more. There is something for everyone on our Discord server. Head on over to Patreon, that is patreon.com/The Escape Pod, and sign up today. Thank you for supporting and listening to the Escape Podcast.
Welcome into the Patreon leaderboard. As seen on GA Center, we bring to you the Patreon version right here on the Escape Podcast. So, if you are not a streamer, but you'd like to see yourself in the boards, kind of like how they do on GA Center, hosted by Neil and Ranger from Reality Skew Gamer every Thursday night on the Escape Podcast Twitch channel, go to patreon.com/theescapepod and sign up at the Kyber Combatant level or higher and get yourself on the list. We'd love to have you, and we hope you're doing well. Let's get to it. D goes 2-1. Nice job, my friend. 48-21 in banners, 37 wins in a row, 0 losses, 2 holds. Not bad for D. Dark Helmet goes 3-0, 4,478 banners for him, 35 wins, 4 losses, 6 holds. Dr. JoJo goes an odd 2-1. He even wrote a report. Let's get that. Another 2-1 week. Round 1 versus a guy with 1.1 million lifetime banners. He didn't even clear a zone. Round 2 versus a fellow Gambit podcast listener. He put an FU defense down, and he full cleared him. He ran out of steam versus his Relic 9 Piet Tarkin fleets. Round 3, his opponent couldn't beat his JML on the back wall, and he gets the win that time around. Dr. JoJo once again 2-1, 44-26, 37 in a row, 17 losses, 6 holds. Force Strong goes 2-1 with 29-04, 24 wins, no losses, 9 holds. 24 is divisible by 8. That might be that almost was a triple crown if he would have won. Hot Sauce. Hot Sauce goes 3-0, 47, 33, 38 wins, 12 losses, 18 holds. And Sephiroth goes 1-2, 28, 52, 22 wins, 7 losses, 4 holds. Patreon leaderboard time. Hot Sauce is at the top, 5-1 with 40-66. And even if he was tied, Dr. JoJo is at 39-21. So, skill rating puts Hot Sauce above. So, I mean, that's this is crazy right now. But Dr. JoJo, Dark Helmet, and Force Strong are all 4-2. D and Sephiroth are 3-3. So honestly, at this point, halfway through the season, it's anybody's race. But we'll have to see what happens with the GAC issues that are going on. In fact, I might have seen that it just got canceled. We probably just talked about that in the intro, so we'll see what happens. But until then, be nice to each other, damn it.
We want you. Join the GAC chain gang today. This is the commander of the 506 Procrastination Battalion and the leader of the GAC chain gang. I am sending out a call to action for any SWGOH content creators on Twitch who would be willing to broadcast their GAC attack rounds alongside some of our best, including Mr. Jigabachi, Dr. Zeppers, Rico 1982, and the Bounty Honeys. What is the chain gang, you ask? We are an amazing group of content creators who are dedicated on streaming the Grand Arena Championship attack rounds on Twitch. The idea is to provide continuous content back-to-back from one streamer to the next and allow viewers to enjoy more SWGOH content, as well as enjoy the variety of streamers that are currently present in the group. If you are interested in joining the chain gang, please reach out to myself on Discord at AndyB's #7465, or you can send us a message on our Twitter page at ChainGAC. Join us today. We have your back.
You're listening to the Escape Pod Cast.
And welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen, where we continue to talk more about Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. And before the break, you said something about another character going to the cantina.
Yes. So Darth Talon, every single one of these Star Killer legacy characters seems to have gone to Cantina, Neil.
Yeah.
Mara Jade will likely go to Cantina.
I don't care because I've got a 7-star Mara.
And I have a 7-star Talon. So, I mean, I don't care about this one, but obviously you do.
Yes, I do. The thing is that there seem to be these waves, right? During that remnant phase, when they were bringing in characters there, there were new characters coming to the game, and they were getting double noded, and it was great. You know, I think it was really, really good. Then the Bad Batch came out, and they started putting them on their own nodes, whereas I think they chosen a winning formula. I mean, sure, everybody hates dark side and light side hard node farming because you only get 5 at a time, but I think from it's not just about the the old hats. You know, it's definitely not just about it's definitely not about the whales and the krakens. The whales and the krakens are irrelevant because they've already splurged, they've already bought these characters. These aren't characters that they're going to have to farm because they bought them. That's why they're whales and krakens. They've bought those characters. I'm talking about your mid-game players, your dolphins, your minnows, your tadpoles, and your free-to-play. The people that have been waiting for it to become farmable. But not just that. On top of that, you've got the new player. I'm talking brand new players.
That's what I think is being good to them.
No, that's just it. It's not being good to them by making too many characters cantina to be farmed from the cantina. I think that it makes it it's not good for retention for new players. Double nodes. If I was a brand new player, if you're a brand new player and you're having to farm everything from scratch and you ain't, forking hand over fist for a hyperdrive bundle, for example,
but you have to get everything from scratch. 2 characters to a node is good value. It's like, oh, I'm getting 2 characters. I'm farming this node. I'm going to get 2 characters out of this node, as opposed to a single character on a node and lots and lots and lots of them in Cantina, you know, because yes, and I've heard the arguments, and I know, you know, one person that is 100% for all of these characters going into Cantina is Rambam, because he'll spend 300 crystals, right? He'll dump 300 crystals a day into refreshes, and he'll get that character in, you know, super quick time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 50 away,
and
I'm 50 away from Kyle Katarn right now.
Yeah, and that's fine for mid-game players that are dolphins and minnows that spend a little bit and earn enough crystals to be able to do that. That's not the case for for people that are playing the game that are lower down the pecking order and free to play. We need to be able to not just get new people to play the game, we need to be able to retain free to play as well. Okay, and it's easier to retain free to play if they're getting more out of their farming, and double nodes do that. And they seem to have gone off the idea of doing double nodes. I mean, Fennec Shand was a double node. That's a great double node. You get Fennec Shand and you get a ship. That's great for new players. That's great for retention. They're farming that node. They're getting a character and a ship at the same time. You know, and there are lots of nodes like that where you get a character and a ship, or you get 2 characters.
There's a few. There's really, not really a lot. There's only a few.
Yeah, but there are some really, really good ones out there, though.
Okay,
I mean, you've got the Purse Bros.
Here is my rebuttal to that. Okay. When it comes to new players are going to be working their way up through Cantina battles, farming those as they go. They're getting good characters. You cannot tell me that Kyle Katarn, Darth Talon, Dash Rendar, and Mara Jade are not good characters for beginning players. They have lots of interaction, Neil, because these characters are, as Jigabachi says, they're the new power creep.
Yes, but they're not, on their own, Stan, they're not, they work, these are great characters in an ensemble, right? Darth Talon is great with Darth Revan. New player ain't getting Darth Revan like that. They're still going to have to play a while. Okay, so yeah, sure, they can farm for Darth Revan. What are they going to do with it?
She's also good on a Maul squad. She's also good on a and I'm talking Darth Maul, not Maul. You know, Robo Legs Maul. I'm talking about Darth Maul.
And who's going to if people are, if new players are coming in, they are reading up and looking into, and and I'm not just talking about the forums. I would argue that a lot of very new players simply use Facebook because they're unaware of Twitch, YouTube, the forums, Reddit. There's there's about 50,000 people that use
I feel
Facebook.
Bad if they're looking at Facebook because they're seeing all the people that I'll just say when it comes to most of the things that you see on Facebook when it comes to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, it can get toxic as hell. So
yeah, I don't see it. Not in the forums. I mean, people give bad advice.
Not in the forums. I'm talking about on Facebook.
Yeah. I'm talking about the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes Facebook page. I mean, you say you see toxic. I'm not seeing it, and that's one of the only.
We must be in different ones then.
Yep. I mean, is it? It's the official one.
Yeah, and
Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, the official one.
Okay, so
I see bad advice in there. I do see I see a lot of bad advice in there, which is why when somebody I will chime in. It's one of the only things one of the only pages on Facebook that I'll pretty much post on. And I try to, give solid advice, because sometimes people will be on there, they'll post a picture of their opponent for GAC and they'll be like, what the hell do I do? Is there any point in me even fighting? And, you know, I chimed in with like, yeah, go full FU. Just put a full FU down, right? And then see what your opponent does. You know, you might learn something about your roster that you didn't know before. You know, a team that gets holds and various different bits and pieces like that. But newer players, a lot of, and we're talking early players. These are people without any GLs whatsoever. A lot of them go to the official Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes Facebook page for advice. So, you know, I try to give them as much help and assistance there as possible. But, you know, back to these characters, these 4 characters.
Okay, so Zaz says, as silly as it sounds, you don't want to overwhelm the new players, give them something to work towards. They're working towards Starkiller, which is a really, really good Grand Arena character.
Yes, but and back to my argument, if they were double noding characters, and you know, whether it's a character and a ship or 2 characters, then they're working towards 2 characters, as opposed to having to farm a character on one node and then move on to another node and then move on to another node. They could literally set up, you know, a farm for 20 characters, right? But they're only farming 10 nodes. They could literally just be farming 10 nodes, but they're getting 20 characters out of it, because we are getting the, you know, game's been going for 6 years. We're snowballing. We're getting to a point where we've got so many characters and so many ships in the game that that's what they should be doing. I mean, there was a discussion on RSG earlier on today where it's like, well, they could do like they did a couple years ago, where they put a 9, you know, they put a 9 in Cantina, a 9 in light side, and a 9 in dark side. So we know that they can extend the, you know, extend the areas and put extra ones in there so that it would create more nodes. And I just think from a new player point of view, Zaz makes a good point. You can't overwhelm new players too much. It's not a good idea to overwhelm new players too much. I mean, I'll give you an example of something that's overwhelming. I would love, you know, to get into, I would love to get back into Marvel Strike Force if they put some Marvel UK characters in the game. But having watched Flair play it and a couple of other people play it, compared to when I first started playing it, the amount of characters that are in it now, it's like, yeah, no, forget about it. There's too many characters. It's way too overwhelming, because, you know, they don't double shard nodes. And I don't want to have to individually farm hundreds of characters in order to be good at a game. I would much prefer it. Well, I want that character, but I'm also getting that one. Or I want that character, but I'm also getting that ship. So when it comes time for me to need that character or need that ship in whatever journey I'm doing, I've already farmed it. I've got it incidentally without actually having to try for it. And that's why I think it, you know, I mean, it might just be for these Legends ones. And when they bring out more new characters, they'll, you know, they'll go back to double noding them like they did with Fennec Shand. I kind of hoping that they do that, hoping that they do it with Iden Versio as well. I'm hoping that she gets a double node as well. I just think it would be more prudent for CG for the retention of new players.
I'd like to see Iden on. I know I'm going to get flack for this. I absolutely already know I'm getting flack for it. I want to see Iden on a ship node.
Yeah, no, it would be useful to have a couple of things extra, because I mean, I'm selfishly saying that because I farmed everything on the ship nodes. I'm farming Omega, not because I want to, but because I've got nothing else to farm.
I'm done with farms. I farm gear on ships.
Well, no, that's what I do. I use my ship energy to farm for gear. But I'd rather, you know, I wouldn't mind having a character that I could farm for and getting the gear as an extra thing. Yep. You know, I really, really wouldn't mind.
All right, let's quickly talk about this TIE Interceptor. TIE IN Interceptor, so I'm guessing it's the TIE Inquisitor Interceptor.
Yeah, for the second system. I'm not happy with the way they're bringing this in.
The Interceptor was Soontir Fell's ship, man. He fought the Yuzan Vong, and I know I'm blowing your mind that I'm talking Legends right now.
I know it's very unusual for
but he fought the Yuzan Vong in an Interceptor and kicked their butt. This thing, it's supposed to be fast. It's supposed to be a fast but not powerful ship. And they've kind of changed it around, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see what it's like. And we will see what it's like relatively early because, thankfully, unlike characters, you know, the ship will be available at 5 stars because, you know, the Razor Crest was available at 5 stars.
Yeah, if you get the Conquest Pass and you get the red box, you will likely open the TIE Interceptor this time around because you can get 145 shards of a character when you run Conquest. So, all right. It is a Empire Attacker Inquisitorius. It's basic, deals damage, physical damage to target enemy twice. Not bad. Not bad. The attack also, when it's target locked, or when the opponent is target locked, the attack can't be evaded. You're basic, but it hits twice, right? That's gonna kind of, if you're not going after the Houndstooth, that will trigger the Houndstooth to gain turn meter. All right. Auto thruster maneuvers, cooldown of 2, special number 1, deals physical damage to target enemy and the I'm gonna call it the TIE Inquisitor for some reason in my mind because of Second Sister. The TIE Interceptor. The tip. You know what? I love it. So just the tip will get deals physical damage and gains foresight for 2 turns. If just the tip already has foresight, it instead grants another random ally foresight for 2 turns. And if they're target locked, dispels target lock on them and deals an extra 50% damage in that hit. Now this is supposedly their big one. It's a Ruthless Pursuit. Deal physical damage to all enemies. It has an AoE. An Interceptor is a one-on-one ship. Anyway.
So's the TIE Fighter, but TIE Fighters have AoEs.
I know, but the way that the art for the or the animation for it, it's turning like this. It's turning on a dime. An Interceptor is fast. It cannot turn on a dime. Deal physical damage to all enemies, gain Ruthless, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented, and give target enemy and all Jedi enemies pursued target until the end of the encounter. Whenever the tip uses an ability, if the target does not have pursued target, Ruthless expires, which is, by the way, I'm gonna jump to this. Ruthless is plus 15% critical chance, 20% critical damage, and 30% offense. If it did not have pursued target, Ruthless expires and pursued target is removed from all remaining enemies, and tip can ignore taunt when targeting enemies with pursued target.
That's going to be really, really, really useful on Empire squads. if you have to use your Empire to clean up an Executor, and a Houndstooth is still there. So, you know, you go in, you've taken out Cad Bane, you've taken out Mando, but the Houndstooth is still bloody there, which means you you have to take out the other 2. You got to take out IG, and you've got to take out Boba. But Houndstooth is still taunting. So I like the fact that it ignores taunt. I think that's definitely going to be useful for potential executor cleanups. Definitely, I like that.
Zaz, we'll get to your idea here before we go to the break. So pursued target, when when tip targets this unit with an ability, it gains 40% turn meter. That's why it's a cooldown of 5 on this, because you're gaining 40% turn meter when you're attacking a pursued target. Tip must target a unit with this or a taunt effect and can ignore taunt effects to target this unit. Its hardware is if all allies are Empire Inquisitorius, which I guess that mean I know it's counting itself, understandable, but does that mean more Inquisitor ships? Or Sith, dispel buffs on all enemies and apply target lock and buff immunity for 2 turns. Buff immunity, that stops the Houndstooth. Dispel debuffs on all Empire Inquisitorius and Sith allies. Neil, I'm just thinking about this. This Ruthless Pursuit, this is going to be the ship to counter the mirror matches for the Executor.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the answer to mirror matches because it is an Empire ship. It does get that. Of course, you don't get the hardware bonus where, you know.
Well, here's the thing, right? I mean, if it was just an extra ship for the Empire, I'd be like, great, because you know there's only 6 Empire ships, and this slots straight into that 7th slot. If you were using, whether you were using Moff Tarkin or whether you were using Grand Admiral Thrawn, it goes in nicely and fills out that 7th slot. But it's talking about synergy with Sith, and it's talking about synergy with other Inquisitors. Now, obviously, this is the first Inquisitor ship. They wouldn't be making something that is good for other Inquisitor ships unless they're bringing them in. And we do have, yes, Vader's Sith. You've got Vader, and you've got Maul, and then obviously you've got the Sith fighter and you've got the Sith bomber. So there are 4 Sith ships, but only 1. So does it mean we're going to get more Sith ships as well as Inquisitor ships?
And they're all going to go. They're all going to go with Tarkin. The Empire ships will go with Thrawn.
Yeah, but that doesn't see if they start throwing in a bunch more Sith and a bunch more Inquisitor, it's just going to annoy the crap out of people that like ships, because how long has the drum been getting beaten regarding a bomber for First Order and a tank? Sorry, not a bomber, a tank. You know, something tanky for Resistance and something tanky for First Order. That wouldn't even fill out those fleets, for God's sakes. You know, they would need more. And I mean, how again, the question, the questions then raised, well, who? I mean, there's plenty of Sith that they could give a ship to, right? But there isn't there's nobody that they could make a tank for, really. So, you know, are we going to get, you know, it's frustrating. That's all. They seem to be putting the emphasis on the Inquisitor and Sith when there are other fleets and other factions that kind of need filling out. And how long are they going to neglect it for?
They still, okay, but I mean, you choose with the Executor, with Tarkin, with Thrawn. You have 3 Empire capital ships. So yeah, you still have
no one's putting their bounty. Nobody's putting their Empire fleet ships on the Executor, because that's just dumb. If you've got the Executor,
I put the bomber. I put the bomber and Vader's TIE.
Fine, that's 2 Empire ships, which is fine, because the number of bounty hunters that we have in the game, you've got space to fill it out anyway. Okay, you've got the space to fill it out. What I mean is, you wouldn't put all Empire with the Executor and then put your bounty hunters somewhere else, because bounty hunters only have synergy with that one capital ship. That's what I mean. You know, and yes, and then we've got Thrawn and we've got Tarkin, and those 2 Empire capital ships. Really. I mean, great that the Inquisitor has, you know, Sith synergy. So you could take you could take Vader, and you could take Maul, and you could take the Sith bomber and the Sith fighter with that one Inquisitor, and you could take those 5 ships and put them with Thrawn or Tarkin, and then leave the remaining Empire ships with the other Empire. You know, so you could split them, you know, that way if you really, really wanted to. But then we're right back to square one, aren't we? Where we've got capital ships that don't have a full complement. What's the matter?
Breaking news.
Okay.
Your skills rating, league, and division will not change at the end of this event. So skill rating is not going to change.
Where was that?
That just came through under the hotfix February 4th, 2022. A comment on
All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's good. Well, I said that. Nothing. They couldn't change anything. Even I said that.
Yeah.
They just have to make sure that they're giving equal rewards to everybody for the cancelled events, and make sure that the skill rating does not change. No one goes up, no one goes down. Everybody just remains exactly the same.
This is just it's one of those crazy times.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the ships. We need more ships. We just desperately need more ships. You know?
Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get into Conquest 13 talk, but just to tell you that Lord Vader is your boss in Node 4. So good luck.
I never make it past the Node 3 boss because I don't play it enough.
Yeah, it's if you attacked in the second round, you can attack in the third round in the next 35 minutes. They literally turned on speed GAC, Neil.
Have they literally turned on
They
speed
literally
GAC?
turned on speed GAC.
Oh my god, they've turned speed GAC on. Oh my god. I'm just booting up the game just so I can.
I'm doing the same thing. While we boot up the game, let's get GACLab in here. We're going to talk more about GAC. We know this.
Oh yeah, we will, yeah.
Coming up in just a moment. But stay tuned for the story time with Uncle Thad right now on the Escape Podcast.
HotBot in HotUtils is one of the most comprehensive tools for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
With integration into the super useful mod tool Grand Ivory, HotUtils can help you tackle some of the most difficult aspects of the game.
Not sure how to mod your roster for a certain game mode?
Use one of the many filters that automatically assigns the right mods to the right character in accordance with your guild needs.
Now with the digital features that can assist you and your guild officers in territory battles and territory wars, HotUtils is an amazing value.
And don't forget the useful tools for yourself in Grand Arena, like the in-depth and customizable compare feature.
Got multiple accounts like Neil, but not the time to remod them all?
With this one-stop utility, you can switch between your alts and never miss a mod upgrade or a mod switch before locking into GAC or Territory Wars.
Starting at just $5 a month, you don't want to miss out on these great tools.
HotUtils is the new official remodding service for the Escape Pod Cast.
Visit HotUtils.com to learn more. That's HotUtils.com. And go ahead and spice up your Galaxy of Heroes experience.
Podawans, be sure to support the shows brought to you on the Escape Podcast Twitch and YouTube channel by becoming a Patreon. For as little as $2 a month, you can support us and get a little extra for yourself. With tiered rewards including access to Shitty Bill's Arena tracking bot, after-show access, inclusion in the GA Center leaderboards, behind-the-scenes access, and much more. There is something for everyone on our Discord server. Head on over to Patreon, that is patreon.com/The Escape Pod, and sign up today. Thank you for supporting and listening to the Escape Podcast.
Back to school. The Escape Pod, cast for kids. It's really cool.
Hello there, Podawans, and welcome back to Storytime with Uncle Thad and the Escape Podcast for kids. Tonight we are going to talk about the newest ship coming to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, the TIE Interceptor Prototype. This is the Imperial ship flown by the Second Sister, which is going to be the next Conquest Reward character. So, get ready and let's dive into where this ship comes from in Star Wars canon. The TIE Interceptor Prototype is the Imperial answer to the fast and maneuverable Rebel starfighter. A Sinar Fleet Systems design, the Interceptor Prototype was more cost-effective than the TIE Advanced flown by Darth Vader, while still being faster and more deadly than the standard TIE-in starfighter. The Interceptor featured twin ion engines with stream projectors, auto thrusters, and advanced targeting and navigational systems. With a top speed of 1,250 kilometers per hour, the TIE Interceptor was one of the fastest ships on either side of the galactic civil war, with the exception of the Rebel RZ-1 A-Wing. Each of its 4 bent wing solar panels was equipped with a wing-tip mounted laser cannon. Unlike other Imperial starfighters, the Interceptor's dagger-like wings provided the pilot with a wider field of vision, allowing the aviator to use more of his or her peripheral vision. Unlike other models, the Interceptor Prototype lacked both shields and a hyperdrive. The lack of defense meant that only the elite of the Empire could climb inside the cockpit. The TIE Interceptor first appeared at the Battle of Turkana, where it went head-to-head with the Rebels' X-Wing fighters. As the Empire came to a close, the TIE Interceptor Prototype comprised 1/5 of the Empire's entire Starfleet, which is a ton. As I mentioned before, the TIE Interceptor Prototype coming to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes was piloted by none other than the second sister. Her force-sensitive reflexes allowed her to perform far beyond the traditional starfighter pilot and do some maneuvers many would consider unnatural. We know from the devs that this specific ship will work well under Chimera lead, but it's not meant to be a one-shot counter to the Executor, not yet at least. It is meant to have all the tools needed to challenge many of the fleets in the game. So take that for what it's worth. And with that, let's take a look at the TIE Interceptor's prototype kit and see just what the new ship brings to the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes fleet battles. Starting off with the tags and description, the TIE Interceptor Prototype is a dark-side Imperial attacker that belongs as part of the Inquisitorius, crewed by the Second Sister. This Imperial fast attack craft is nimble and deadly. Its basic ability is simple and efficient. It delivers physical damage twice, and if the target is target locked, these attacks are unavoidable, which is super nice. I mean, it's nice if you're the attacker, not the attackee. Its first special provides it with foresight. Now this seems to highlight the ship's speed and ability to outmaneuver just about anything. It was pretty hard to hit with the right person in control. Now Ruthless Pursuit, this is the second special ability, is less about what the ship brings to the table and more about the Second Sister's tenacity in tracking down her prey. Now, hardware. This is called How Predictable. The ship's hardware ability is another ability the devs seemingly pulled from the tenacity and gumption of the Second Sister, and less to do with the capabilities of the ship itself. Imagine being a Jedi on the run. You leave a planet only to find the Second Sister there when you arrive. You narrowly escape her, leave the planet, and who's waiting for you when you arrive at this new planet? She is. She's everywhere. Its final ability, the Unique, is just an ability that it seems to inspire those around it to greatness. And this makes sense. When you see someone or something do something amazing, don't you also want to do something amazing? It just makes the most sense. Well, that's it for me this week. Be sure to tune in next week for more story time with Uncle Thad on the Escape Podcast for Kids.
Hello friends, this is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and I approve this message, and am compensated for signups for this service.
The world's largest audiobook library is at your fingertips, and the Escape Pod Castaways want you to try it for free. Head on over to escapepodcastaways.com and click the Going Nerdy offer button to claim a free audiobook and 2 Audible originals. Cancel anytime, and it's absolutely free to sign up. Check out Audible and support the Escape Pod Castaways, all for free. See Audible website for details. Restrictions may apply.
Hey there, listeners. Merchandise specialist Critty K here. Do you enjoy the Escape Pod and want to support the channel and get something a little extra for yourself as well? Head on over to tpublic.com/user/theescapepodcast and grab a Team Neil, Team Paul, Critty Play, or many other fun Padawan designs on your choice of shirt, cup, sticker, mask, or even a magnet. And be sure to check out the Mrs. Anthony Shirts channel on the Escape Podcast Discord and get the latest info on the other designs I make as well. Sometimes there's even a sale going on, so it is smart to stop on by. Thank you for supporting the Escape Pod Cast.
Attention, we are receiving an incoming transmission. Attention. Attention, we are receiving an incoming transmission.
And welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. This week's incoming transmission is it's another show. We've got a whole other show on. Paul, why don't you introduce our guests this week?
I am more than happy to, especially when it comes to talking GAC today. Cubs, GoCubs, is obviously a Cubs fan. His name, he has Han in back of him, but he's not Cubs fan Han. He brags that he went to Game 3 of the World Series. He's actually also an avid golfer, and that's how he paid for college. Very, very awesome. He's a husband of with 2 kids, and he wanted to make sure that I also said 3 cats. For all you cat lovers, GoCubs is your guy. IceHouse himself, Empire Strikes Back is his all-time favorite movie. That might explain why he loves bounty hunters so much. But he also is a fellow sports fan. American football, I don't want to set off Neil, and baseball are some of his passions. And he is also a web designer, created an entire website about the NFL draft. I'm wanting to know more about that specific website. But right now, there's one person missing from this group. And so I'm going to pass it over to GoCubs to tell you about Brill.
Yeah, Brill's our third person that is part of the GACLab, and Luke is his favorite character, and his avatar, if anybody's ever seen it, is a lightsaber that he built at the Galaxy's Edge. So that one's pretty cool. He is also a huge soccer fan of the outdoors. Football. He's a fan of the outdoors and homebrew. And then he enjoys the mix of luck and skill games, kind of like Star Wars Galaxy Hero, but like Scrabble, chess, poker, and other games that are similar. So he likes the thinking part, which is what really drives him. And
you also said that we didn't need him anyway because he's the one who just talks about mods all day.
That's
hey,
you know what's great about him not being here, Ice? You know what's great?
You're not muted.
I'm not muted. He loves to randomly mute me for fun.
Well, I mean, how often does that happen?
Oh, a couple times per stream. It has to.
Oh, per stream. So this isn't something that happens once in a while.
Oh,
it's
no.
It's
several
a
times on
occurrence.
stream.
It's free.
do you get a warning, or
no,
could you like be in the middle of
talking.
a soliloquy and people will be it's like no one can hear you? Yeah. Paul would be in a lot of trouble if he did that to me.
Well, I mean, the Cubs, just to make you feel at home, what is your favorite character in this game?
Right here.
He's right behind him, Paul.
I know, but do you hear him right now?
You muted him.
Yeah, I unmuted him. So there we go. I've asked him to unmute real quick. I wanted to make him.
Felt it coming, so I just was like, right here. That. I don't even have to talk.
I just had to. Of course, for the audio only audience, he loves his Han Solo. as I said in the intro. So who came up with GACLab? Who's in charge of the brainchild?
Oh, Ice is in charge.
Yeah, well, I mean, Cubs was talking about getting on GA Center because he would be recording his stuff and putting it on there, and then, just some other pieces fell into place. We were still kind of in quarantine, and we were just talking about, and probably about a year ago, we were talking about, well, maybe we can do this, and we just never got it going. And I'm a teacher, so I had my summer off, and then the summer started, and I got an opportunity to get this alt account that I have. So one of my friends that had been playing since launch, he was in my guild, my first couple of guilds, but he was super cracking. And so he's like, well, because he offered it up to anybody that was in our original guild if anybody wanted it. So I'm just like, yeah, I'll use it and just make it a playground. I mean, and that's really what it is. And so I'm like, well, I could stream those, and I could, utilize those for any of these weird comps because, we're not meta. We're far from meta. We like to theorycraft, and getting this account that at the time was 8.8 million and had almost everything relic. And I'm just like, well, let's start theorycrafting. And then the first iteration of Conquest came out, and it was, we were able to test all kinds of stuff there, and, kind of the rest is history. And we have our weekly podcast, which is kind of what we wanted to do. And if we get extra streams throughout the week, that's just a bonus for us. And,
I think we all came together because of being Urza's War Room. And that's what really got us. So, that connection, not just through Discord, but getting on voice and actually having some conversations. And then when it was over, kept talking and going on. And that's kind of helped drive some of that stuff too.
Well, and my first experience actually streaming was just on Discord because we had an inter guild fight. I was fighting somebody in GAC of 3v3. And so we had probably 30 people on Discord just watching us, and we were going back and forth, just exchanging blows. And it was a 3v3, and we had the mutual agreement, no Galactic Legends. And let me tell you, I had so much fun doing it. I'm like, okay, now I see why everybody wants to be streaming, because it's fun. It is fun.
I had a match against one of my fellow guildmates, and we put in the rule that you could only undersize.
Oh,
no, GLs were on the table, but not on defense, and you could only undersize.
Ooh.
See, and we did it where there were no GLs, but on cleanup you could. So if I went in there and I failed, I could go back in there with Slacker and clear it up. But I mean, I'll just say it was fun, and we all love this game. We all have a passion for it, and that's kind of what we want. Is we want that passion, but we want people thinking outside the box, because
you are guys that come up with really, really good off meta counters.
Well, and let's be honest, Cubs and Clash were really close before Clash retired. Now he's back, but we were also missing that piece of the theory crafters out there and really going in depth, especially with the scoundrels. And Cubs helped with the original Stormtrooper Han counter. I don't even remember which one that was, thousands of years ago. But really, that's what kind of blossomed from there, and we wanted to get kind of carry on Clash's legacy.
Yeah, and Brill has been on Fight Night a couple of times. If anybody's watched, he is pretty amazing. He can come up with some really impromptu good stuff, and he knows all the kits well enough that and that's one of the pieces that really, really helps, kind of knowing all the ins and outs and how they're going to mix together and how you can kind of piece something together for cleanup a lot of times. How are you going to get through this wall?
Well, I mean, the cleanup, especially with the new iteration of GAC, cleanup crews, cleanup teams are really, really important. They are so important, especially for those people that are sporting, the 5 and the 6 GL accounts, because that if you're putting your GLs on defense in order to hold off your opponent, you need those off meta counters, and they don't always work. Sometimes RNG screws you up, sometimes you fat finger, and you need to know, you need to have a go-to cleanup crew. A perfect example would be Bad Batch the other day. I threw in a team, it didn't do well, but I knew because I burned through all, they were on cooldown for everything, I could throw my geos in and pretty much auto the damn thing. So it's like, it's not just having the squads, it's knowing what you can use. So it's definitely an important aspect of the theory crafting for sure. More so now than it was before.
Well, and like I want to say, well, for sure last season when the Omicrons first came out, I knew I wasn't going to win the match, and they put Ray Cat out there. So I threw out the Aura led with Zam, and I was able to get Cat out of there. So I'm like, well, this is something useful in case you're not going to be able to clear it in one shot. You might as well go take out Cat and then go from there.
What's funny is all the content creators are using that now.
I'm not taking credit for it though.
I'm saying it was like, it's something that works. The Omicrons have affected us a little bit though, because one of the things they originally did with our show is weekly we would take a character, we'd call it the Farm of the Week, and we would take an underutilized character that was a forced farm to get like a GL or a Galactic Legend or a legendary character or whatever, and give people ideas on how to use them. Like a Sidious or a Tarkin or before Royal Guard got reworked, different ways to use these characters. So the Omicrons are affecting that a little bit for us, but not in a bad way. Just some of these are now you're getting even more options moving forward than what we had before.
Regarding that, definitely maybe for the higher end Div 1 people who already have multiple nom-noms, they've got multiple Omicrons.
Yep.
I don't think it's important now because people have so few, and some people have done Zam, some people have done Qui-Gon, but 12 months from now, people are going to have all the GAC Omicrons, and those squads, how they're theory crafted and the squads that get put together for them, that's what I think is going to be interesting. Are they going to get used to make more solid defense, or are people going to keep them thinking, well, I've got the Omicron, this is now an off meta counter to this specific GL with this makeup? Or like they nuked the Qui-Gon one, which annoyed the crap out of me, because on my alt account I was using it to kill Slacker. It wasn't, yes, it was a GL killer, but not like all it was. I discovered very soon that it was great at taking out Slacker. So I'm like, saves me a GL. I was putting 2 GLs on the account has 3 GLs. I was putting 2 GLs on defense because I knew I could take out a Slacker with that squad. And as soon as he got nuked, it's like I was back to 1 GL on defense and 2 for offense, because don't get me wrong, he could still do some stuff, and he was a good cleanup against a GL. He would still do a good, still do a pretty good job of a cleanup. Let's be honest, you could auto a cleanup, but right now it's like, do they have the Qui-Gon one, or do they have the Zam one, or do they have this one, or do they have that one? 12 months from now, you're not going to be looking to which one has it. You're going to be, it's like everybody's going to have all of them, because you're just going to naturally get these things from farming, aren't you?
The one thing that I think is going to set it apart though is there's such a slow drip, just like with R9, there's such a slow drip that it's going to take some time unless they start introducing them to be a quicker way to get them. But the other thing is that there are people out there that are in TW based guilds or TB based guilds, and they're more focused on those Omicrons. So that might slow them down in terms of GAC. The other thing that we just talked about is there's a lot of Omicrons that are for any type of player, not just end game. There are the mid-tier and the beginning game players. And I think that that's really going to entice people to look a little bit closer at those. We just got Akbar. Everybody gets Akbar for free. So he's definitely what we would consider a beginning game Omicron. And Is it
Well, I would say that I would say the Phoenix and the Ewoks also come into that as well, because day one players, early game players, people in that first 12 months, they're more likely to have those full squads.
Yep.
Because they'll be doing Phoenix for Palps and for Thrawn, and they'll be doing Ewoks for C-3PO. So, and their full squads, whether they gear 11 or gear 12 them, they're still going to need that. They will be using them on defense considerably more in, I would argue chromium and below.
For sure.
Than anybody else. I mean, somebody that's in Kyber wouldn't dream of wasting their nom-noms on Ewoks or Phoenix, but somebody that's at the bottom in Carbonite or Chromium and below, they'll look at their rosters and go, well, I don't have the Jedi for Qui-Gon. I don't have the bounty hunters to justify it for, but I do have, I do have Phoenix, or I do have Ewoks, and, they're not great, but if I put the Omicron on them, they will be better, and they'll catch, potentially catch their opponents off guard.
I think what's also going to be nice down the road is, as a few of them, more of them come out, is those have created a passion project. Let's say you are in game and you've gone after Phoenix or Ewoks, you can be rewarded with an Omicron on your side, side project or passion project or something you care about. Eventually, like Night Sisters might get one, or something like that, where there's certain people that are
Rogue One.
Rogue One would be
like
a perfect one.
Jyn Erso gets one, yeah.
But then that theory crafting with Akbar and Leia both having one, do you put them together? Do you split them? I think there's a lot of things going around right now for those. Brill and I both have relic fulcrums. We've had them for years. And I think, somebody like us, it'd be something that's like, well, maybe we take that chance to create a squad. And we'll probably wait to see if anybody, see some video footage on it. But I think it'll be nice down the road for people that have chased something to be rewarded for it.
The one thing,
and it's good for retention of those early players as well.
The one thing that I do see maybe hindering, though, is if you look at Akbar's, it's just rebels. And like if you look at Iden Verso, it's only if she's with this specific group. So it gives us options like with Leia and Akbar, because there are so many rebels. That's why I think those are good, because you have so many options there. However, like with Iden, very, very specific team needed for that Omicron to be useful.
I mean, the Iden squad's great with Empire anyway. I mean, I like, I use that team. For me personally, I use that whenever I see Carthanasi scoundrels, because it's cheap, and it's easy. It's almost like this one leader turns a bunch of relic, gear 7 and 8 trash into a 65 banner winning squad. I mean, granted, obviously there are exceptions to that. We're talking about, those gear 11, gear 12 teams, which is what most people leave them at, because that's all you need them for anyway, is,
right.
Gear 11 or gear 12. But a gear 11, gear 12 Carthanasi Scout, Old Republic team just gets destroyed by the Verso team. It just gets absolutely destroyed, which is great. And it's cheap. That's what those characters are kind of for.
Yeah, I think Iden's going to end up being one of the best of the Omicrons. That's just my opinion, but I'm also biased because I put it on her and I built up that team. I just took Magma to relics. So
I did the Zeta. I did the Zeta, but I don't feel there's enough Imperial troopers honestly there for me to want to break up what I have.
I think the Omicron really helps for when you get later, and we'll start seeing more of those Kyle Katarns getting to Relic 5, and the speed starts to get near 300, and you don't have something that can outspeed it. And this will be a good counter to it. I mean, that's where that Omicron, I think, comes into play, because they just can't hit hard enough to get through them. They just regenerate too much protection. So
yeah, I mean, and I took out before the reset tonight, I just took out a JTR BB-8 squad with my squad. It took like not even a minute. It was great.
Yeah, I just full cleared I just did a full clear of my speed GAC round 3 here. While you guys were discussing all the small boys, if you will. I mean, I know that you like Han Solo overall as a Star Wars character, but is there a specific Galaxy of Heroes character, Cubs?
That's not my Star Wars person. This is my Galaxy of Hero person. He has 76 GAC holds currently for me lifetime, so that's kind of what I'm known for. That's my guy. But
okay.
But as far as Star Wars overall, Vader. I don't think there's any.
IceHouse, what about you? Is there a Zareth hates L3? Is there someone that you love as much as he hates L3?
Oh, well, let's see. I mean, I'm a bounty hunter guy. I've always been, and the only character I've ever wailed on, ever, was the original Mando, because I thought the Annihilate was going to just be a game changing, and so I'm like, nope, I'm going for it. So,
and has it been for you? Are you playing it right?
I've used it every GAC on offense. I've never put it on defense. My bounty hunters, I think I've put on defense maybe 3 times in the last year. Maybe I've always kept them for offense, and with the Zam Omicron, that gives me 2 really viable teams. So that would be my favorite faction, hands down. I love the bounty hunters just in general. I think that they're cool, and yeah, I want more. I'm not going to say any spoilers, but I want more.
I like that they give options. I'm not a bounty hunter person, but I just like that faction gives so many options on how you want to play versus what you're going against.
Yeah,
on the other side.
What? Okay, so sadly, we're getting close to the top of the hour, so I have to transition into the standard closing questions. What do you guys have coming up? When's your next episode, and is there anything special you guys are doing with it?
Well,
are we moving up to Thursday?
Well, we are having a Tuesday episode next week, and we do have a special guest. You may know him. Am I allowed to say it, Cubs?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, because I think that Brill confirmed it, but we are going to get the one and only Calvin Awesome on the show next Tuesday. So that's kind of
you got to help him drown his sorrows. From
that was hard to.
Here's the thing: if they reset the season, that gets wiped, because in the original post they said reset the season.
I think they should reset last season. Then
I'm hoping that it's just a week.
Reset last season. That was my only 0-3 I've ever had. That was last season.
I went 8-4, and I've just got something to show you.
You did the full clear too.
You got it. Nice job.
Not bad. That's two 3GL opponents I've completely wiped the floor with.
Nice.
So how do people find you? And then I have a major question that comes from the original supporter of the show. So go ahead, whoever wants to answer. How do people find you if they don't want to look at the show notes?
Well, you can find us on Twitch, GACLab. I don't know. Do we even have the link?
It's in there.
Okay, and then you can right now. And then you can join our Discord server. We're in there, and you'll find us all over. We're in all kinds of different Discord servers. So if you need to get a hold of us, now the one thing that you do need to make note of is there's 1,000 Brill councils out there. So you got to find our Brill council.
There are a lot of Brill councils out there. A lot.
Yeah. Almost as many Maul Eliza's, but so you can find us every Tuesday. We're all 3 of us are Central Time Zone, so we usually go between 9:30 and 10 o'clock at night. So
all right. And what time zone?
Central.
There you go. So you're like us. We like to consider the show going live at 7:30, but we advertise it as 8:30 for, standardization. All right. So Fighting Drunk was the original supporter of the Escape podcast. So I do have to ask. He wants to know what everyone's favorite flavor of cheesecake is. Mine is OG cheesecake, original.
Oh, I'm a big fan of cookies and cream or Oreo.
Oh, from Cheesecake Factory, I'm going to go the salted caramel. Oh.
All right. And Nev?
Anything with caramel in it.
Yep.
All right. So there you go, Fighting Drunk. Thanks. It's always good when he stops by, and he'll always ask a funny question. So, guys, thank you so very, very much for stopping by, and go check out GACLab. Wonderful show. Looking forward to your interview with Calvin Awesome next week. Neil, any final questions before we premiere the new episode of Dickie and the Noob?
No, let's let these gentlemen get off.
All right.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. You guys are pillars of the community, and we love it. Guys, stick around. Coming up after this break, as we said, new Dickie and the Noob, and then we'll be getting jiggy with Jigabachi.
HotBot in HotUtils is one of the most comprehensive tools for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
With integration into the super useful mod tool Grand Ivory, HotUtils can help you tackle some of the most difficult aspects of the game.
Not sure how to mod your roster for a certain game mode?
Use one of the many filters that automatically assigns the right mods to the right character in accordance with your guild needs.
Now with the digital features that can assist you and your guild officers in territory battles and territory wars, HotUtils is an amazing value.
And don't forget the useful tools for yourself in Grand Arena, like the in-depth and customizable compare feature.
Got multiple accounts like Neil, but not the time to remod them all?
With this one-stop utility, you can switch between your alts and never miss a mod upgrade or a mod switch before locking into GAC or Territory Wars.
Starting at just $5 a month, you don't want to miss out on these great tools.
HotUtils is the new official remodding service for the Escape Pod cast.
Visit HotUtils.com to learn more. That's HotUtils.com. And go ahead and spice up your Galaxy of Heroes experience.
Podawans, be sure to support the shows brought to you on the Escape Podcast Twitch and YouTube channel by becoming a Patreon. For as little as $2 a month, you can support us and get a little extra for yourself. With tiered rewards including access to Shitty Bill's Arena tracking bot, after-show access, inclusion in the GA Center leaderboards, behind-the-scenes access, and much more. There is something for everyone on our Discord server. Head on over to Patreon, that is patreon.com/The Escape Pod, and sign up today. Thank you for supporting and listening to the Escape Podcast.
Dickie and the Noob, Episode 2, The Neon. When we last left our heroes, their search for Hondo had brought them to the island of misfit characters, where Zori Bliss had provided them with the coordinates of a hive of scum and villainy, where every scoundrel in the galaxy winds up at one point or another. They were told to ask for the head of security, who knew every nerf herder who came through the doors.
Dickie, I put the coordinates into the database, and the ship just asked me, are you sure you want to go there? Outstanding debt, 4 million credits?
Look, Noob, you gotta remember, this is Hondo's ship, so all these notes are his. It means he's been to this place at least. Is there anything else in the archives about it?
It just says if the neon is lit, ask for the blue one. The blue what? Blue milk?
Sure, Noob, yeah, I'm sure that's what they're talking about. Regardless, the ship might get recognized, so we should probably just park it outside of town. Plus, it's pretty much a law of sci-fi. You need a journey from your ship to the destination, so just park it outside of town and let's get in. Hey you with the droid. You want to buy some death sticks?
What's a death stick? Is that like a gun? I've got plenty of those.
Newbie, put those things away. Remember, we need to lay low.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Death Stick Man. Sure, I'll take one death stick.
No, Noob, you don't want them. They're not guns. They're recreational sticks that, well, make you happy.
So, why do you call them death sticks? I think you need to rethink your marketing strategy.
Look, man, I'm sorry about my droid. I tell you what, we'll leave you alone if you let us know where I can find the place with the giant neon.
Look, man, yeah, just head down the dark alley, turn to the left. You can't miss it.
Thanks, man.
Wow, this place is actually nice. I was expecting something much seedier. There's something strangely familiar about it. And look, the Twi'lek behind the bar looks like she's about to turn 100.
Yeah, the reputation totally doesn't match. Hey, barkeep, can we get some information, please?
Get me a cup of coffee.
Aren't you supposed to serve us?
Well, I'd say it's very possible.
Okay, well, could you?
Ooh, somebody likes to party.
Look, I'm not trying to party. I'm looking for some information.
Well, I've been around the block, okay? I mean, I've seen a lot of things, and I've done one or two, and I know a few things.
Hey, Betty, could you go clean up in the back room, please? I'll take care of these guys.
It would be a welcome relief.
You'll have to excuse her. She's adjusting to her new duties. I'm free. I run security here.
Well, hey, actually, just the guy we were looking for. I was kind of hoping you could help us find a friend.
Yeah, we don't do that anymore. Ever since the owner got rid of the hollow tables, we've been trying to clean up our act.
Okay, well, that explains a few things, but that's actually not what I meant. We're looking for someone who goes by the name of Hondo Anaka.
Whoa. Don't let the new paint job fool you. This is still the kind of place where snitches wind up in the Sarlacc. Do I look like a snitch?
Look, we need some information, meatbag. Are you gonna tell us what we need to know?
Whoa, noob, put those things away!
Dickie, it's really hard for me to sound intimidating since Yarmo messed with my emotional regulators.
You're not supposed to sound intimidating right now. We're having a civilized conversation. Look, I'm really sorry about my droid.
I'm not saying another word in front of him.
Yeah, fair enough. Noob, could you just go help Betty clean up in the back?
But...
Noob, please, you're not helping at all.
Fine, but don't think I'm cleaning anything.
Okay, thanks, Noob. Just please go in the back. Look, I'm sorry. Where were we?
Look, man. How long have you had your droid?
Noob's only been with me for a few days so far.
How much do you know about his past?
Well, I know the guy he was with before pretty well. He was a really good guy, would whisper to himself often, but, apart from that, a pretty solid guy.
Yeah, well, that droid used to have a real problem with holotables. He kept mumbling something about the droid meta is coming. He owed the house thousands of credits. We knew the only way we were going to see any money back is if we wiped his memory and sold him to a pawn shop. I'm guessing that's where your friend found him.
Well, it's going to be really hard to contact him to ask him, are you sure it's the same droid?
Look, again, I'm no snitch. But I find it real peculiar when someone comes in here looking for Hondo with Hondo's old droid.
What do you mean, Hondo's old droid?
Yeah, the two of them used to come in together. Look, I honestly have no clue where Hondo is today, but I'd bet that droid has something in its memory banks that'll help you out.
Huh. Well, thanks for that. That's certainly interesting.
Dickie, I'm out of here. Betty is trying to get fresh with me.
And now I'm gonna have to kill you.
Betty, stop harassing the clientele.
Later on that night aboard the mothership. Hey Yarmo, look, Noob is powered down for the night. I need to know if you can boot him up in safe mode or something where we can access his memory banks. Well, it seems that Noob used to actually be Hondo's droid, and he had his memory erased and sold to the pawn shop. I guess that's where Helly found him. But I'm hoping there's something in his memory banks we can find. Tune in to next month's episode of Dickie and the Noob to find out what is hidden in Noob's memory banks.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. If you threw a party, invited everyone you knew, you would see the greatest gift would be from me, and the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend.
And now, It's time for Getting Jigabachi with It on the Escape Pod Cast.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. It's time to get jiggy with Jigabachi. It's the fourth segment. It's Patron Choice. Mr. Jigabachi, how's your week been?
Pretty good. It's gonna probably not part of the reporting now, obviously, for the GAC Center, because this week is gonna get scrapped. But I beat in commanding fashion a 5GL opponent who could not clear me, and he took everything on offense. Whatever.
Really? 5GLs? And he couldn't, he couldn't
5GLs?
clear you with 5GLs.
He took one zone with 5GLs.
Oh my God.
Dude, I don't know.
What is, yeah, that's nuts. That's absolutely bonkers.
He put, excuse me, pardon. He put Ray on defense. So 4, whatever. I may or may not have put opponent.
It's the kind of opponent that Calvin wished he had.
He's a dude. The thing is, though, is that that's the matrix of the way things are. So like he kept that GP super low, super low, super low, super low, super low. So then when he needed to actually bulk up, because he's at the skill level where he should be playing with the big kids, you know, the guys with the big rosters like that, and now he can't get caught up fast enough. Because he can't inflate GP enough to be able to you just get sat on by the big GLs, you know what I mean? The big rosters, you know?
Yeah. No,
there's nothing you can do about it.
You're lucky if you can, you can do 1 million. You could comfortably do 1 million GP to 2 million GP a year, but more than that, yeah, it's just not doable. It's just not doable.
It's the relic levels of tanks. That's what this, because eventually you get to the point where you're starting to see the relicate Royal Guards and you just get caught like trying to chunk through them with like relic 3s and relic 4s. Doesn't really matter how good your mods are. If you're trying to chunk through a relic 7, relic 8 tank to try to get to something that you need to kill under a certain time limit and you can't do it. I mean, it doesn't matter whether or not your Dark Trooper has 10k damage or 9,500. It's not going to happen.
So what are you going to do with all this lovely free time you're going to have over the weekend now?
I'm going to keep playing the Old Republic. I just keep doing my stuff with, you know, my chat and do that kind of thing. How
are you enjoying that?
It's good. It's fun. I played it at launch, and it's a good game. It's playable. It's fun. I mean, you just kind of doodle around, you know. I mean,
are you doing it solo, or have you got like?
I've got a crew.
Have you got
my boys.
Have you got a crew that play with you at the exact same time?
I've got a bunch of friends that all play together and stuff like that. So I'm also doing I'm a dungeon master for a D&D campaign, and so this is giving me a little bit more time to be able to kind of like.
When do you guys play that?
It's a non-stream thing.
Oh, non-stream. Well, when do you play that? What's your? Because Christy's right now in the other room. She's playing D&D with the group that she plays with, and then of course she does her Saturday nights with RSG.
Well, I'm going to be probably. I don't really. I'm actually DMing this one, and we're kind of setting up times right now, so I'm not exactly sure when we're going to do it.
Gotcha.
We've got a tentative schedule, but it's as soon as I.
But
finish
middle of the day or evening?
Evening. It's evening game.
Okay. If it was middle of the day, I was like, hey, I'll play.
Oh no! This is a locked group. It's a bunch of friends. We're all doing this stuff together. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. So, Jig, I mean, what did you change defense? Were you affected by the bug?
What bug?
So what killed GAC this season, if you will? Because if you changed your defense from round to round, your opponent got banners. That was the issue.
Wait a minute. There are people that don't change defenses? Oh, I change mine every week. Every single round.
Every single round. So your opponent did get banners because you changed.
Yeah, no, I don't have. I have never, one of the, I guess you'd say, the only time I've set a static defense in the last year, 2 years has been when I auto set 2 weeks ago, and it was totally by accident. I actually meant to set a really stern defense because I was testing my defense in a round. I was playing a guy with 6 GLs and 9.1 million GP. It was a crush. So it was like, I'm just going to put everything down and see what performs, see what draws what, see how it does things. And maybe that will give me some insight when I get into these bigger rounds in the future. And I auto set by accident because I just forgot. And then I faced an opponent with the exact same GP disparity between me and him and 6 GLs in the next round. I put everything on defense and almost won. Almost. I was 150
and then you had
banners
fun
away.
in round 3, didn't you?
Yep. And round 3 was that weird, bizarre match with the guy with 6 GLs and pulled everything for offense for who knows why. And when I mean pulled everything for offense, I mean, he pulled everything for offense. And it's like, what was your goal here? It was so weird.
Yeah, but you had fun with it though, didn't you?
Oh, well, I always have fun. I mean,
some of those squads that you were pulling out your ass to beat him were awesome.
Yeah. And the fun part of this game is playing the game, getting stuck and locking opponents out. I mean, that's not enjoyable to watch people get stuck. I mean, yeah, if you want to see a match where the player that you want to win wins and gets, locks out an opponent, it's great. But we want to see all 11 of those zones go down. We want to see the 2 ships go down. We want to see the stuff get cleared, right? That's what we're looking for. And then usually the best part of that at times is like, ooh, I won by 6 banners and this is why, because I did really well here. But it's like some of these matches where the score is like 350 to 420. And that's it, because people have walled everybody out for GLs. It's just tough. You know what I mean? But defense does win championships.
Yes, it does. Defenses do. Yeah, defense definitely is a lot more important these days than it used to be.
Yeah,
People
it is.
just used to go for efficiency and the full clear. Now, yeah, there's no more. Well, it's not that there's no more of it. It's that it's more of a defense game now.
In the matches where I'm getting significantly outmetriced, you know what I mean? Way more GP, way more GLs. I'm noticing that in the matches where I go super heavy and lock zones off, I can have a chance at winning those if they try to do something more offensive and, less defensive, because then it comes down to, if they put, like in the last match that I faced, the guy's 6 GLs, he put 2 GLs in each wall.
Oh God.
What are you going to do? And then took all the rest for offense and then put gear 9s. And it was like, I took the 2 GLs because I took 2 GLs on offense and left 1 on defense. I took the 2 in the front bottom and he still outbeat me just because there's nothing I could do about it,
Yeah, no. My Div 4 alt that doesn't have a GL on it in round 1 faced a guy with 2 GLs. And it's the first time I faced, he was my first opponent that actually played it sensibly. He put C he put C in front of door number 1 and he put Slacker in front of door number 2 and trash around it because he knew I had a JKL. I tried my JKL against the Slacker and it failed miserably. And then I used 5 more teams to beat. I used 5 more teams to clean it up.
Yeah,
the JML on that account.
The thing is, though, and this is the truth, which is that this game is based around Galactic Legends. It is. There's no mistaking it. It's a GL chase. You got to have as many of them as possible. I am probably 3-4 weeks away from ticketing for SEE. I mean, this game is it's all chase. That'll put me at 4, and I'm going right after another one after SEE. So it's like, wow. That's what this game is. You got to, once you get that metric down, right? So you get the big players down, then you can eliminate zones, and then you can sit on people, and then it's mods. And obviously smart planning and stuff like that. But yeah. I mean, that's part of the process of being a professional.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're right about the GLs thing, because Paul, you mentioned something to me before we started the show about something in the data mine game that actually requires a GL.
One GL, doesn't matter who it is. Just you have to own 1 GL in order to participate in whatever this is.
This is 3 years. What is it? 3 years now?
Yeah, it's been about 3 years of GLs.
I have no sympathy if you don't. Now, if you've been playing for 6
maybe
months,
maybe 2 years, 9 months, I think it was, because Scotty left when GLs came around.
but I mean, like, it's not to say that I don't feel bad about it. It's just that it's been out long enough where it's a normalized thing. Now, obviously, if a person's been playing for 6 months or a year, don't make it so exclusive that, a player can't ever get caught up in like, oh, I started playing 6 months ago, because I really liked, the Mandalorian show. Because there's a lot of people that came into this game because of Mandalorian. And you know what I mean? Because that's true, because Mandalorian's the best thing that's happened to Star Wars since Empire Strikes Back. But you got people that are coming back to the franchise, and it's like, don't make it so that those folks who are probably unlocking a GL right about now can't get going, you know what I mean, on a natural normal path to a GL.
Well, all right, let's get to some Patreon's choice questions here. Patreon's choice: if you're a Patreon, add questions into the Patreon's Only Questions channel. If you're not a Patreon, you can use your channel points to ask a question in this segment. And Zaz is the only one so far. He posted, he wants to give us a Valentine's Day themed one early.
My favorite, the only holiday I celebrate.
All right. So, what, if anything, will you be buying your better half for Valentine's Day this year? Keep it clean, boys. So I bought Christy. She loved those little McNugget toys back in the day from McDonald's, and Funko made pops of them. So I bought the 4-pack of those pops for her for Valentine's Day.
We'll go.
I'm single. Just move on to Jiggy.
Really? You're not going to buy your hand something?
No, I'm
some lotion or something.
Move on.
I'm not buying my. I'm not buying my hand anything. Anything special. I'm not. Renting out any sexy movies or anything like that.
I didn't. There was no.
You didn't say curse. I'll give you that.
That was pure good old.
That was PG-13. You're fine.
PG-13.
Good old innuendo. Yes.
I don't believe in buying personal possessions. I like to buy things that are of value, that get used, not just stuff that sits around. So we'll probably end up getting something to eat. But we have everything. If we need something at the house, we pick it up. I'm not going to buy her something crazy. That's really weird.
All right. What's your go-to song to get the romance going? Neil. What was what with your ex-wife, what was the go-to song? Mine is so traditional, but it works.
Hey, Pro, what's the go-to song for us to get busy to? She laughed. She's laughing and walking in another room. She's tapped out.
All right.
I don't know, Evanescence maybe.
Bring Me to Life? What?
What?
Bring Me to Life is your go-to song?
Just anything from Evanescence.
All right.
She liked it.
Marvin Gaye, Let's Get It On.
Really?
Yep, it works. Because I do that little goofy dance, and she thinks it's cute, so it works.
Oh, that's adorable. Ours, I think ours is probably anything. We're busybodies.
Big Country Mag says when the ice cream truck drives by. Where would you take your love for a romantic meal? There you go, Jigabachi.
Well, the best restaurant that we have in town is a sushi restaurant that we both go to, either that or the Indian place that we both love, that we've been going to. Both restaurants we've been going to for 14 years. They all know us. We've been going there. It's longer than that. Yeah, it's probably somewhere in the 16-year mark, but she said 20. So there's an Indian place that we both love. We're treated like royalty there, but we had our wedding reception there.
Neil, where would you go?
I don't know. I recently moved into this area and I haven't been to any restaurants yet, so I have no idea. So if I was dating somebody, I wouldn't take them out. I prefer to do the proper romantic thing and cook them something. So.
That's actually my answer. Every Valentine's Day, Christy, I go to the local store. I get a very thick ribeye that they then butterfly, and it makes a heart, right? Ribeyes turn into a heart. And I cook the steaks, and Christy does the side dishes, and that's what we do every Valentine's Day.
Fun fact of the evening, Paul.
I know you're vegetarian. I know.
Ready? I have never actually eaten that in my entire life.
Okay, so a ribeye looks like half of a heart. So if you butterfly it, it'd look like a heart, right?
No,
okay. There you go.
The imagery I can get. I got that. I've just never had that. Even before I was a vegetarian, I never ate it.
All right. Where would you go for a romantic holiday or vacation for us Yanks?
That's an easy one. The Maldives.
The Maldives, huh? I would, if we were going to go someplace romantic, I would probably say that I would probably try to fly and say, let's go to France, because she speaks French. So we would be actually able to do stuff there. You know what I mean?
So for me, one day I will be able to do it. I'm going to take Chrissy to Italy. She wants to go to Italy.
Ah, very cool. Very cool.
Right. If you do Italy, do the Adriatic coast. I've done Italy a couple of times, and the Adriatic coast is just beautiful.
I will take you up on that, Neil. All right, and the last question from Zaz. Your other half dresses in a Star Wars cosplay to spice things up. Who or what are they cosplaying as?
I can ask her. Do you want me to ask her?
Yeah, go ahead. Why not?
Prue, you are dressing as a Star Wars character to spice stuff up on Valentine's Day in the bedroom. Which character would you dress up as?
She's just gonna laugh and walk away again.
No, this is gonna be awesome. She's thinking.
Oh, okay, while she's thinking, Neil, who is it for you?
Like the classic, the slave Princess Leia. I mean, come on. If you can go with Marvin Gaye, "Let's Get It On" as a cliched song, I can go with Slave Leia as, a cliched cosplay. Because I'm sorry, but the one that I had, the Slave Leia that I had my photo taken with when I was at Celebration in 2019 was hot as balls, and I'm like, yeah, one day I will get this. I'm going to have this one day.
All right, so we just heard Prue answer. Jig, what's the answer?
She said either Ahsoka Tano or Jessica Biel as a Twilight. Jennifer Beals as a Twi'lek.
So I'm going Kira.
Kira. Oh yeah, from the Han Solo movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's Groot Rocky says with Urz it was a Twi'lek. Lee Bone says Tano, and Bone says any Twi'lek.
Ray Rock says
Ray
R2,
Rock says
so
R2.
that's a man of much. Man of high culture.
I was waiting for somebody to say Gonk Droid.
Gonk Droid, yeah.
Yeah.
Get Gonk with it. I can do that. That's fine.
All right. So, what do you got coming up, Jig, on your channel? I mean, we already know you're doing Old Republic, but anything else fun coming up?
Yeah, I'm getting ready to add I'm going to cry about my roster channel point, because it has become the #1 theme of people join the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes thing, is to immediately start complaining about their matchup in GAC, which I am getting absolutely tired of. It's like we're talking about 3 weeks down the line or 4 weeks down the line, and it's wearing me out.
So they have to redeem that in order to say that they hate their matchup?
No, so that way that when somebody starts bitching about it, somebody will redeem the channel point to say, stop crying.
Oh, right. Oh, no. That's even better.
Because dude, it's become a thing. It's like it's like sometimes I'm like playing, I'm like, dude, I don't want to, like, I get it. Nut up, figure it out. Stop bitching. Go do it.
Nev, what are you gonna do?
Well, I mean, I'll still get up tomorrow morning and do Jedi Academy, but instead I'm gonna
On Reality Skewed Gamers' channel.
Yeah, on RSG's channel. But to be honest with you, I'm gonna finish off these last few thousand Magic the Gathering cards because I really, really need to get them finished. So
Are you gonna do that on stream?
No, I'm not gonna do it on stream.
Okay.
I'm gonna sit and watch Red Dwarf. I got my hands on a Red Dwarf box set from a thrift store, and I didn't even realize they did a season 12. So I'm like, oh my god, this is season 12. So yeah, I'm not going to watch it yet though, because I like it's like I'm going through all of the early seasons first. So I really, really enjoy getting to season 12. So I'm going to do some binge watching of Red Dwarf this weekend as well, since I don't have to prep for any GAC or anything like that. And I'm going to scan some Magic the Gathering cards because I want them all done so that I can send the collection link on Card Castle to Loki and say, right, before I sell all of these cards, can you make a deck for me so that I can take that out and play with, Ranger and Loki and Crumb and whoever. I just want one commander deck. So
there you go.
I can play it. Yeah.
All right. For us, it's the return to Vault 37 Studios Lego Dimensions. We are close to being almost halfway done with this game. There's 1,000 things that you have to do, individual, quests, and we're almost halfway done, which means that we'll start Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and we're saving the Lego Batman movie for when we hit 750, which, maybe it'll happen this week. We don't know. We'll find out.
Well, speaking of the Batman, so you said Batman.
Lego Batman movie is one of the things that they put out. But yes, the trailer for the new The Batman came out.
Yay or nay? Where are you guys at? I know where I'm at on it.
I'm gonna give it a chance.
Dude, I think it looks awesome.
Yeah, I need to watch. I've been looking forward to it because when they were first talking about it and when they were first touting it just before they started principal photography, they said that they were doing the movie based off the graphic novel, the Batman graphic novel Year 2. Dude,
I think he looks awesome. So I'm all in.
Really, because that Year 1 was brilliant, and I didn't think that they'd be able to. But when Year 2 got released, it was like one of my all-time favorite Batman graphic novels. It was absolutely Frank Miller is a god when it comes to Batman. Frank Miller is a god. So they're using a Frank Miller story for a Batman movie. I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that the director gets it right and they get the cinema.
The look and feel of this so far, I mean, obviously it's just trailers, but the look and feel of it, it's like, for as much as I've been like not excited about anything in that series for a long time, I was like, dude, this has got energy. I dig this guy. It's cool. It looks good.
All right. Well, that will do it for us this week, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to raid Shattered Order, who's a fellow Star Wars podcast, and I'm giving you guys warnings that they, I guess, are talking about the Book of Boba. So if you haven't seen it yet, go ahead and leave the raid, because I don't want to do spoilers. But check out Going Nerdy on his YouTube channel this Tuesday as we break down the latest episode of Book of Boba on the Nerdy Network. It's I think it's going to be a very, very interesting show. Neil, strong opinions on this one as well?
Interesting opinions on this one.
All right. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Be nice to each other, damn it. Thank you, Jigabachi. Thank you, Bones. Congratulations on joining the show very, very soon. Thank you, Dickie, for the brand new episode of Dickie and the Noob, and special thanks to Free88 from the Hall for guest voicing in that. Neil, anything else?
No, we're good to go, buddy.
Thanks for the GAC lab. Those guys were awesome. That was a great interview.
Push that button.
Don't mind if I do.
What's going on? Where the hell are we? Paris?
Thank you for pressing the self-destruct button.
Attention! This is Colonel Sanders in forward command. Abandon ship! Abandon ship! All personnel proceed to escape pods. Close down the circuits. Evacuate the city. Self-destruct mechanism has been activated. Abandon ship! Where is it? Where is it? It's gotta be here. Out of order! Even in the future, nothing works.
This ship will self-destruct in exactly 10 seconds. Counting down. 10, 9, 8, 6.
6! What happened to 7?
Just kidding. 3, 2, 1. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Hello, friends. This is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy. The Escape Podcast was filmed in front of a live studio audience full of tweaked out murder bears.
Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog.